You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
What's going on, U.S. Cellular customers? I've got good news, so don't hit skip, at least not yet. I'm talking about their special customer event, Us Days. What is Us Days? It means exclusive offers just for their customers, just to say thanks, like $1,200 off any phone, plus $300 off any tablet. No, I didn't just misread that. They must really like you. Us Days at U.S. Cellular, exclusive offers just for you, just to say thank you. Right now, U.S. Cellular customers get $1,200 off any phone, plus $300 off any tablet. Terms apply.
Jewelry isn't a gift you give just once. It's a way to remind your loved one of a beautiful moment every time they see it. Blue Nile can help you find the gift that says how you feel and says it beautifully, with expert guidance and a wide assortment of jewelry of the highest quality at the best price. Go to BlueNile.com and experience the convenience of shopping Blue Nile, the original online jeweler since 1999. That's BlueNile.com to find the perfect jewelry gift for any occasion. BlueNile.com.
You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show of the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers today, but what we do have, as soon as I get these settings all figured out here, bing, bang, boom, bam, bam, we have Daniel from California.
Hey, Ryan, Daniel from California.
Sure is.
I made the mistake of joining like a NFC North Facebook group. And
oh, good.
God, these guys, like all these people are so delusional about their teams and
that's where I need
just
to go.
how to build a
Why don't I do
roster. It's just a compilation of all the unreasonable fans in the NFC North.
That I could make an entire show out of that. Just, I don't know if you guys would enjoy it. It'd probably get annoying after a while. Like, okay, that's a stupid take. We get it. But my Lord, that's just a gold mine.
I hate it. But, they don't understand how to build a team. Let's start up there, right? Because, for example, everybody's like, oh, yeah, we got all of our old polls filled. Bears, Lions, Vikings are there. They're off to the side. But, like, look at all the, we have players at every position. It's like, yeah, that's cool. Like, you got serviceable guys at every position. But, like, do you have depth, right? Like, we had a huge hole at linebacker, right? And I'm not saying we got, top-tier linebackers. But what did we do? We got two guys in the draft, Hopper and, drawn blank. Sorry. I can't believe Edric Cooper, right? Tyron Hopper, Edric Cooper, right? But we already had Quay McDuffie, that's 5, and, who was it, TJ Wilson, is that his name? Snaps, he's not a bad linebacker either, right, if he has to do spot snaps, right? So we got 5 guys that are, serviceable in rotation. Like, we understand that we have to have bodies there, right? And guys that are capable, right? Corner, yes, we didn't draft a bunch of guys, but, we have 4 guys that we like, right? And then another thing, though, is, you have the Valentine tandem, right? Like, those guys played real snaps last year. Stokes, he's played real snaps. He's been injured, but, we got guys that have played real snaps, and then we brought in a guy in the 7th round who has, performed at a high level. So, we're, 5 guys that have the ability to, show something, right? These other teams, the Lions, they do a good job about bringing in a lot of talent. They had 2 linebackers last year, and then they drafted a linebacker, and this year they did a lot of corner help, right? But they're new to this, finding the talent. We were born in this, all right? They were merely adopted by the darkness. We were born in it, right? So these guys, they're an injury. A lot of these teams are an injury away when we're having to play our guys.
Hang in there.
Now, at least now anyways, right? But Yeah, I'm excited. Go Pack Go.
Tell you what, man, these are my people over here on the Facebook, so I don't get over here as much. And when I do, I want to be in my own thing. But like 50% of these posts are just AI-generated images of whatever. Yeah, these are my peoples right here for sure. Most of this, I mean, it's not a whole lot of serious takes, just what I'm scrolling through. I mean, there's a couple stupid things, but it's mostly just trolling. So we wouldn't want to invest too much time arguing it. Like Packer fans are walking zombies. What the heck does that even mean? Okay. Oh, I got one. All those years of supporting those horrible Lions teams, how do they repay you for your loyalty? They raise the season ticket prices 175%. It's sad to see a team that doesn't give a crap about their fan base. Actually, that's not how that works. The prices go up based on supply and demand, which means the demand has gone up when the Packers started being a good football team, which means the price didn't go up because the team wants to screw its fan base. The price went up because y'all are a bunch of fair-weather D-bags that didn't support your team back when they sucked, and now that they're good, everybody wants to flood in there and pretend that they're these loyal Lions fans. That's the reason the price went up 175%. Because there's a 175% increase in the amount of people pretending that they gave a crap about supporting the team back when they sucked. So, nice try. Because the fact of the matter is the prices probably are not inflated. The prices before were deflated to try to get anybody to show up to those stupid frickin' games because nobody wanted to go. They had to have rock bottom prices just to entice anybody to go. Okay? So there you go. What's up, Trevor?
Hey, Ryan, Trevor, Virginia. Sorry my last call got cut off in the middle. The problem is my truck does not have AI.
Okay.
And I was driving beside my wife, and halfway through our call, my phone just decided to switch and connect to her car. So it went dead, but whatever. I don't think I was saying anything too important. Listening about the CBA and the salary cap and stuff like that, it just seems to me, like you said, and everybody knows this, but it's the CBA and stuff, it's all geared towards the players that make the most money, which is a very small amount, which is like, how does it get through in the bulk of your players union? It's people that don't make that money. So, like, I don't know, it seems like they could have a little more voting power, but I'm pretty sure when they voted on this CBA, like, the veteran minimum gets set, and I think it's set for the 10 years of the CBA. I don't think it changes at all during those 10 years. Like, let's say the veteran minimum after your rookie deal is $500,000. Like, I think it stays after 10 years. And granted, all of us calling in, probably most of us would love to make that much money in a year, but like 10 years, no raise, like that's not really ideal.
Right.
I think a very small thing they could do to help these minimum players is like 500,000 or whatever it is, you know, it goes up based on your years of service in the league, but like that veteran minimum is so small already. Like, what is it? Less than 0.5% of the salary cap or whatever, but whatever it is, just say like, hey, the veteran minimum is not this dollar amount, like it's this percent of the salary cap. That way, you know, if it's 0.4% or whatever, and then the salary cap goes up by $10 million, you know, you get a $10,000, $20,000 raise on your veteran minimum for the next year. Like, I don't know. Like, why? I don't know why we have these hard set numbers when the salary cap is so variable instead of just tying things actually as percentage to the salary cap. And I guess maybe players would hate it, but for the foreseeable future, like the salary cap is going to keep going up, especially when they add more primetime games, more international games, like more, and then eventually there'll be an 18th week, which they're not going to be able to do without adding a second bye week. So that's 2 more weeks on the season, more TV revenue, right? So, but anyway, like I would love to see like a Jordan Love contract that is just like entirely new to set the market. We're like, hey, we're going to pay you 7% of the salary cap every year and just allocate a percentage of the salary cap versus a dollar amount. And, you know, he's going to get a raise every year, and it's going to be a good deal for both sides. But anyway, the CBA is a bunch of nonsense. It doesn't actually help people it's meant to help. But just my thoughts. Go Pack, go.
So I want to verify this. I do think there are increases in the minimums over the agreement that goes through 2030. They're not massive increases, but, you know, again, it is. So, for example, a player with 10 or more years of experience in 2020, The vet minimum was $1.05 million. In 2030, it'll be up to $1.85 million. Let's see. Also, some increases in performance-based pay, player revenue share. Those things are expected to grow 48% with the potential to reach 48.5% in any season that includes 17 games. So there's actually a chart here over on SpotTrack. The 2020 CBA, so that you can. This is actually kind of interesting. You can see all the different CBAs. So 2016 through 2012, the 2011 through 2019, and then 2020 through 2030. You can find this at spottrack.com/NFL /CBA/minimum if you wanted to find it. It's kind of interesting, this whole CBA thing. So they've got CBAs and cap history, minimum salaries, rookie scale, franchise tag, transition tag. But you can see how many years of service and then what the value of that is going to be. So, for example, 2 years of service goes from $750, this is 2020, to $850, about $900, $940, $985, $1 million, $1 million, $0.75, $1 million, $120, $1.165 million, $1.2 million, and $1.25 million in 2030. So there are minimum salary increases. Let's see what else we got here. The cap. This is kind of interesting. This would actually be a pretty cool episode to look at. But again, I think that this does make some sense because, if what you're saying was true, it would be odd and against what I was saying, which is the players, most of the players in the NFL are not the big money mouthpieces that are screaming for, less games, less this, less that. They're more interested in, things like minimum money. So it does make sense that a lot of the wins are things like this with increases on the minimum scale. And let's see, NFL rookie scale. So it's got all the picks here. So for the first overall pick, I see this. Does it go? It does. It's kind of cool. So you can pick what year. So 2024, the total value of the number one pick is $39.5. 2025. Oh, they don't have it. Never mind. I was like, this is going to be cool. Nope, it's blank. But there's also an article here kind of goes through some of the changes in the new CBA. So we'll see a new playoff format, a 17-game schedule, bigger roster, and bigger paydays with fewer padded practices. Limits teams to just one franchise tag. That's about it. So, there's a ton of stuff in these CBAs, but it does look like there's some, again, very minor, but there are some increases in the minimums and whatnot.
What's up, Ryan? Kyle from Madison. How are you, buddy?
What's up, dude?
Listen to your pod here. You're mentioning a little segment here about getting rid of OTAs. Maybe the Players Union would like to maybe move those to the training camp schedule for the ramp up, and then possibly, but not exclusively, contingent upon adding an 18th game. That got me thinking, at what point would you favor adding a second bye week? Because as much as I hate the bye when it's our week to have the bye, I think let's say it was a 20-week schedule, you had 2 bye weeks.
Well, let me just say this. I'll tell you right now. I think that's probably going to be included by the time we get to 18. So as I mentioned on that episode, this change has nothing to do with an 18th game. There's no way players would accept that as a reasonable thing. In fact, sounds like the players actually hate it. They don't like this idea, so it wouldn't actually be an incentive to give the 18th game. I think an extra bye week is going to have to be included to get to 18. Now, that might actually buy them to get to 19 and to 20 or whatever before you start talking. I don't know how far they want to actually take this, but I expect that to be a thing, which, if you think about it, I don't know that players would necessarily have any real reason to object to that, because essentially the additional week is just an additional week of rest, right? So it's 18 weeks, which gives the NFL more revenue. It's another week of football. But as far as the players and the teams are concerned, all we're doing is we're adding another bye week, I would assume. Unless they want to go straight to 19 and be like, we're going to add a bye week and a week 19. I don't know. But I just, that's my assumption is we've kind of hit a point where I don't know that the NFL is going to be able to get over the hump of another game without offering a bye. would be my assumption. But I'll have to dig into that a little bit because I don't know exactly where the thought process is on that around the league. I'm sure there's been some talks.
Maybe even they're in a row. I'm not sure how you'd work it, but like, I don't know. If you're going to get rid of some of this off-season stuff, it would be nice to fill up that season a little more. Or maybe just think out of the box, because 20, if they add an 18th game, you got 19 weeks. I mean, just make it an even 20 and figure it out. But I do think maybe they got to figure something out with rest. Maybe take a page from some of the European or international soccer leagues that even take like a break in the middle of the season of a few weeks. I'm not sure the NFL is going to cede the airwaves to other sports on purpose like that, but maybe there's some different solutions to get these players rest in addition to adding those seasons. Those games. So curious on your thoughts there. Like, at what point are we adding bye weeks, and how long can this thing go before players' bodies just completely break down? Like, we end up having a 25-week season. Like, there isn't a man in the world going to survive that. Right. Yeah, just curious, because I think it is going to happen, and I think it is pretty interesting, and maybe there's some solutions out there to make sure the players can at least stay as fresh as possible in a longer season. All right, talk to you later.
Yeah, so I got to think for just a second because I'm getting my numbers confused for whatever reason. So yeah, I think that could be an option. One of the tough things to get around is, they just agreed on a new CBA. That doesn't mean they can't renegotiate it before 2030, but I'm thinking that it may be, 2030 when we're talking about this. And because these are going 10 years at a time, I don't know if you want to just nickel and dime it as opposed to let's just go for it. So again, as I mentioned, you could just add a bye week, which would give the NFL another week. It doesn't add another game, but it does add another week. Because right now we have 18 weeks, 17 games. If you add a bye, you have 19 weeks, 17 games. But again, if we're just waiting 10 years, I think the real thing to do would be to add a bye and a game. So you're adding 2 weeks. So it would be 20 weeks of football with 18 games and 2 byes. If that was the case, you would have, let's see, how long would that run? So week 19 would have been like the 14th of January. Week 20 would have been the 21st of January. And then it's what? You get the playoffs are the very next week. So the first week of the playoffs here, then you get the next week of the playoffs, then the next week of the playoffs, then a bye, and then the final Super Bowl. So it would be like the last week of February, maybe, would be the Super Bowl then. And then I don't know, like if you could keep pushing everything back the same, you just push everything back 2 weeks. Obviously, we're just condensing the amount of time that you have like dead period stuff, which again, I'm all in favor of it. I don't want a dead period. Even though OTAs are pretty dead, it's still something. The team is still there. You still got press conferences. You still got a little bit of media coverage. I mean, I'll accept that as not being dead time. If we could just squeeze out that last little month, that would be wonderful. But again, I don't know if this gets done before. Well, I don't know how early before they try to get a new deal done. Maybe they negotiate it in 2028, 2029, I don't know. But again, if you're only doing these once every 7 to 10 years, don't just nickel and dime it. Just go for it. And again, from a player's perspective, I don't know that that's not more beneficial. I know it's more weeks, and I know that kind of sucks, but 2 weeks of rest has got to be pretty nice. And you could obviously set it up where one has to be in the first half. So we're talking 20 weeks, so it's in the first 10 weeks. Or I suppose if there's a window, let's say it starts in week 4, it ends in week, 16, 17 would be the last week you could have a bye. Cut that in half, whatever. But I think that'd be cool because, again, the players get 2 weeks of rest, which is nice. The fans get 2 extra weeks of football and 1 extra week of their team playing football. Because remember, just because your team has 2 byes, there's still football those weeks. So it's 20 weeks of football, not including the playoffs. And 18 weeks of football with your team, in this case, obviously the Packers, plus the playoffs. I don't know. I would love that, and we'll see if that's how that gets negotiated. That would make the most sense to me, and I find that to be reasonable, if you're a player. I feel like that second bye week would be really beneficial, and a lot of them would really like it, but maybe it's not enough and they would need a little bit more, which I'm sure you could find something. Anyways, some really good questions really got me thinking here. Why don't we take a break? We'll come back and hear from Trevor in Virginia. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. You know, in the hobby, it's not easy of being a fan of ripping packs or repacks. We always hype ourselves up thinking we're going to get some kind of a mint signed Jordan Love card or something. But with zero transparency on available cards and hit rates, it's all just a shot in the dark. That is until now. Introducing slab packs from arenaclub.com, the only repack that provides real value, a complete view of all possible cards, and clear hit rates for each one. Now when I buy slab packs on Arena Club, I finally feel like I know what I'm getting. I don't know if you saw the video me and my son did. That was us on arenaclub.com looking for new cards for my kid. Still on our YouTube channel. You should check it out. They have an incredible website. Slab packs are way better than mystery packs. Immediately after your pulls, they put your cards safe in a vault. So whether you're buying, selling, trading, or displaying, Arena Club's got the card collection platform that you have to check out. Right now, you can get 10% off your first purchase by going to arenaclub.com/packdaddy. That is a crazy offer. 10% off a $400 slab pack. That's $40 right there. Anyways, that's arenaclub.com/packdaddy for 10% off your first purchase. What's going on, U.S. Cellular customers? I've got good news, so don't hit skip, at least not yet. I'm talking about their special customer event, Us Days. What is Us Days? It means exclusive offers just for their customers, just to say thanks, like $1,200 off any phone, plus $300 off any tablet. No, I didn't just misread that. They must really like you. Us Days at U.S. Cellular, exclusive offers just for you, just to say thank you. Right now, U.S. Cellular customers get $1,200 off any phone, plus $300 off any tablet. Terms apply.
This episode is supported by FX's Clipped, the scandalous story of the 2014 Clippers owner's racist remarks captured on tape and heard around the world. The series charts the tape's impact on a dysfunctional basketball organization striving to win against their reputation as the most cursed team in the league. Starring Lawrence Fishburne, Jackie Weaver, Cleopatra Coleman, and Ed O'Neill. FX's Clipped, streaming June 4th, only on Hulu.
Hey, Ryan, Trevor, Virginia.
What's up?
Off-season content for you here.
Yeah.
I live in like a small town, like hour outside of D.C., and like less than a mile from my house is an old mill that sells like farm supplies and stuff. And Joe Theismann goes in there about once a week, so I see Joe Theismann in there sometimes. Never bother him or anything, but I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know if anybody else has any like players, anything like that live in their community that they see out and about. And then, yeah. Just thought that was it. I just saw him, that's why I called in. I just thought it was an interesting little tidbit. So, go back up.
Very cool. Trying to figure out where that is. I'm seeing a couple possible places. I know you said Old Mill. I don't know if that's the name of it or if it just happens to be that, but I see the Old Mill Cafe, Old Mill Creamery Annapolis, and then Old Mill Cafe. Oh, wait, that's the museum. So, yeah, those are the two that I see could possibly be it. Mill Restaurant, Main Street Mill Restaurant, the Mill Room, some other ones kind of by Washington, but not really. So it's got to be one of those two. I would think it's kind of, was that northeast? But yeah, man, that's pretty cool.
Ryan!
Hey!
1265, Dan, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good to hear it. I hope you said something good there, because
I'm good enough.
Anyway.
Yep.
So I just got done listening to Matt LaFleur's little, podium thing there after OTAs, yada, yada, yada. And I guess there's some idea floating around that the NFL is thinking of less off-season activity, or maybe starting it later in the year rather than earlier in the spring. And I thought that was interesting because who really benefits to that, right? So LaFleur, when they asked him about that, what he thinks about that, he said, well, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Right.
Because late and undrafted players, they already struggle to catch up, and there's already not enough time for us to teach and develop them. We only have a limited amount of time, and especially required time. You know, if it's not a required practice, some might not show up, or maybe some might not even be able to show up. But in any case, it just gives even less time. So now they even have less of a chance of making the team than they did before, which was already pretty low. I mean, how is that going to help the NFL? You're limiting teams from finding more stars, and stars are what make the game. That's who people pay to go watch. So now you're limiting NFL teams from finding those future stars by limiting them once again. So who is it really doing this? Is it like the highest paid players because they don't want to come? And that raises a whole nother question. So, okay, there's more like youth and younger players and low paid players than there are stars, right? So is it the younger players listening to the stars in regards to this particular issue about time, and they're all agreeing? Or is it a very limited number of players that actually count in regards to their opinion? I don't know how this works, and I really don't understand it because it doesn't make sense to me. Why, if you're a younger player, why would you listen to the stars? You're not benefiting from it. Outside of maybe coaching, like if they want to give you tips and stuff like that, I get that. You want them to be a buddy, I get that. But realistically, you're not helping yourself. Crap, I'm almost on 3 minutes. I have to call you back. Okay, bye.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, it's really confusing to me, and I don't understand why this would happen over and over and over again. I mean, I'm trying to find a way to say this. How do you not think about it? If you're a younger player, how do you not think that, well, I don't have to vote this way, or is it only certain players that are allowed to vote? Or is it not a voting process? How are the younger players not speaking up a little bit in regards to that part of it? You know, the actual playing and camaraderie, I mean, can they not separate that? I don't know. Maybe it's because I am a girl and we do have the capability to separate pretty well. But you know, when you're going out in the world to make money, you should be thinking about yourself and your family first. You know, my dad always said, hey, always think number one first. Because if you can't take care of number one, who else can you take care of? What can you do? If you're not taking care of yourself, you're of no help to anybody else. So I don't know where it comes from. So yeah, that was my whole thing. And I got a bunch of time left, but I don't really think I have any other questions right now. If I do, I'll call back. Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds to me, not that I've heard from everybody, but everybody that I have heard does not seem to like this very much. The consensus, I think, among the NFL in why they want to do this is they think it'll cut down on injuries. But, I mean, even the veteran players who I thought maybe would be in favor of it don't seem to like it. The young players certainly are not going to like it. As Matt LaFleur pointed out, this is going to be terrible for, those young undrafted free agents that are trying to make the team. So it shouldn't go into effect. It sounds like it's going to go into effect. And, I mean, they're so short-sighted and they have one focus, and that's less injuries. And it's almost like they've been given one directive, and it's like that's all they care about. Like, if we can just reduce knee injuries or hamstring injuries or any kind of injuries by a handful of players, then we've done a good thing. Hilariously, the second most important thing is how do we expand the NFL? Like, how do we expand this out globally where we have them flying across the world, which obviously is not great for health. Let's put them on a plane for 14 hours and then have them sprint across a football field. And how do we add more games and everything else, which obviously is counterintuitive to the first thing. But I don't know, man. It just is what it is. I don't know. And again, the only reason I say it seems to be a certainty is just the way the coaches and players are talking about it, especially the coaches that I heard. It's just sort of I don't like it, but we do what we're told, and that's that. Anyways, let's take our final break. We got another 1265 fan, and then Andy from Kansas.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
With threats to our nation waiting around every corner, adaptability is more important than ever. When conditions change without notice, quick strategic thinking is crucial. And with obstacles consistently impending, determination is essential in overcoming them. It's this willingness, decisiveness, and resilience that sets Marines apart. With our fighting spirit, we don't just fight battles, we win them. Marines are the constant our nation counts on to fight the unknown. And through adaptable problem solving, we do just that. Learn more at marines.com.
Have you ever experienced turbulence on a flight and wondered why?
And you can see all the terrain around you. You've got no issue with visibility or anything?
No, everything's peachy.
Maybe you've sat on the tarmac for hours wondering why your plane isn't moving.
Well, we're outside here. They're saying the ramp is closed. They won't let us park because of Air Force One.
Listen in on the conversations between pilots and air traffic controllers on the Air Traffic Out of Control podcast.
510 Whiskey declaring an emergency. There's smoke in the cabin. I need to make a landing right now on 31 left.
We have the most interesting, wild, and funny ATC recordings you will ever hear. Check out Air Traffic Out of Control wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Hey, Ryan. So, pardon me if I'm a lot of breath. I'm walking to work. I just went up the hill. So anyway, I watched Jaden Reed's little, locker room interview he had. Oh my God, talk about exciting. Okay, so not only did he beat Sterling Sharp's rookie record from 1988, which is impressive, especially for put marks around it, slot guy, I call shenanigans. He also broke the NFL rookie record. The NFL, all teams. That's crazy. So at his interview, they asked him how it feels this year. And he said it's like night and day. He said, honestly, I wasn't hitting my stride or wasn't really getting everything until the end of the season last year. So this year, I'm way ahead. And I thought, wait, what? Wait, what? What did you say? You come in as a rookie, smash all the records, and you don't know what you're doing? And now you do? Holy beep! Wow! I can't wait for this year. Oh, gee, he's my boy. And I have not picked a rookie for this year yet. I don't know what my holdup is, but I can't figure out who I'm going to root big for. I mean, I'm rooting for everybody, but I always pick one. But anyway, that's all I have to say. Super excited. Okay, bye.
It is very exciting. I mean, he is the most under the radar, I'm not going to say superstar, but under the radar, just good player that I can ever remember. It was so odd to me when I heard that he broke, whatever record it was that he broke. I don't remember what it was. Receptions by a rookie or something. It was like, he didn't really stand out to me. He was good, but it's like, I didn't realize how much he separated himself from everybody else. Dontavian Wicks was really good, and I thought Dobbs at times was good, and obviously Christian, when he was healthy, was good, and we saw Musgrave step up, and then when he went down, we saw Kraft step. It's just there's so many guys doing so many things, and obviously we're all just enamored with Jordan Love. Like that's the amount of our attention being spread everywhere and consumed almost entirely by one of two things: Jordan Love, which either it was just us being in love with him or arguing about him, and the defense and how much we hate it, especially Joe Barry. I just feel like Jaden Reed got just completely swept under the rug. And you're right, and I had mentioned that before as well, as far as, hearing him comment and say like he didn't really figure it out or really feel confident until the end of the season. And as I pointed out, you could see that little spike down the stretch there. So yeah, very, very exciting to see what he's going to be able to do. Extremely hopeful that he is going to be a really good player for us. I'm always skeptical, but at the same time, kind of talked about how the Packers don't have like that truly elite player, and for whatever reason in my head, it doesn't feel like it's going to happen. But obviously that's ridiculous with the amount of potential that is there. I mean, honestly, with Wicks, which I really have a hard time with because he was a later round guy, which is stupid. But Christian Watson, who I'm still convinced is a superstar, if he can stay healthy and just show everybody, and Jaden Reed, on top of everybody else that just happens to be there. Yeah, there's every reason to believe that somebody, Musgrave or whatever, is going to shine and really stand out.
Hey, Ryan, this is Andy, still stuck in Kansas. Just wanted to thank you for your episode recently about the Packers player-centric or team-centric. I think that you get so many players coming in, and we heard some of the interviews recently in the OTAs about just liking the community and people liking to be here. And, you get quite a few numbers of high-level free agents that could go anywhere, like we had this last offseason here with McKinney and Jacobs wanted to come to Green Bay. So obviously that occurs. Thinking in the past over the last, 10 or so years, some of the players that left Green Bay thinking that they were going to get better deals elsewhere, and it didn't work out at all.
Right.
Greg Jennings, if you remember, that was 2013. I think he was demanding $15 million a year. The Packers offered him $11. He scoffed, left, and ended up signing with the Vikings for I think $9. Yeah. Jared Cook did the same thing. I think the Packers offered him 9 or something like that, or 8, and he wanted 11, and he ended up going to the Raiders, I think, for 7. You might have to look into that if you really want to know the numbers. But I do know those two guys specifically wanted more and ended up going and settling for less, and really had some, opportunities that didn't work out. Of course, Devontae Adams ended up with a lot more, but even his situation has not worked out, I don't think, very much at all. So just to the question of, should we be player-centric, it's a salary cap league. So anytime that this player wants more, somebody else has to take less. I think that you pointed out that in the episode. And I think as much as some people will call that like a competitive spirit, I think that ends up kind of being dog-eat-dog, which a lot of people don't want in a workplace. And that's what it is for these guys, always remembering that it is their work. It's a game to us. Of course, it's a game. But, these guys are pretty serious about figuring out how they want a good work environment. And we'll see how it goes in the next few years with the wide receiver room, a bunch of young, successful guys. Yeah, who's going to take the contract, and or if they're going to get together and be like, let's keep this together and we'll take less. That would pretty much be the only way to do it with the salary cap, so we'll see how that goes. Secondly, I'm curious if you've looked, I have not looked, in some of the news and notes around the league with OTAs. how many teams have had big names not show up, whereas the Packers are looking like they're getting just about every single person coming in. You need to take a look around the league if you have time to see, hey, who didn't show up? I thought I heard that Keenan Allen didn't show up for the Bears. Like, what's that about? New team, new quarterback. What's going on? That doesn't seem to be good for them, but they've had those problems in the past.
Sorry about that doom-ding interruption. Well, on your first point, I mean, I think you could use Aaron Jones as an example. You can say, well, Aaron Jones got more with the Vikings. I think that's true, but it's also an example of, I mean, is anybody going to say the Vikings made the right decision? What are the Vikings doing? You're not in a win. It's the same as the Bears. Even if you want to say the Bears are in a win now or they think they're in a window over the next 2 years, I mean, okay, fine. I think you're delusional, but fine. I don't understand signing a guy who's, I mean, he's getting up in age. He's in his 30s as a running back. He has injury issues. It's going to be a very split backfield, and you don't have anything. What does that get you? What do you think he's going to do? How many more games is he going to win you? Are you going to the playoffs with him or what? So he made maybe $1 million more or something like that per year, I think, and it was a bad decision by the Vikings. They shouldn't have done it. So I think that would be included in, proving, I don't know if proving's the right word, but demonstrating maybe the Packers were right in terms of their valuation, right? Because everybody just wants to ask the question, should the Packers keep Aaron Jones? That's not the question. The question is at what cost? And when you look at the fact that he left and got, $1 million more in a not great situation, I don't know. I don't. Obviously, Devontae made less money elsewhere. That was kind of a different situation. It's hard to get definitive, because all this stuff is kind of behind the scenes. I think there were reports that Micah Hyde maybe took a little bit less when he left. Casey Hayward, TJ Lang. Again, I don't know what the actual offers were, but there were some reports that it was at around, possibly below what the Packers were offering. And then as far as the Bears OTAs, it looks like Velus Jones, Keenan Allen, Darnell Wright, Nate Davis, and Montez Sweat. I mean, pretty much all the superstars, and I'm not talking about Nate Davis or Velus Jones. Nate Davis just refuses to ever go to Chicago. I mean, last year it was like, well, he had a family thing or something. I don't know. Well, I mean, he basically didn't show up until week 1. He was terrible. Now it's the next year. He's still not going. That was such a terrible investment. Montez Sweat isn't there, whatever. I mean, again, the first question for me is, especially for the high-end superstars, are you not going because you feel entitled to take some time off because I'm good enough, I don't need it? Or are you doing it because you're at a facility somewhere out in Los Angeles or Miami or whatever, some premier facility that you can afford because you're super rich and you're working real hard and that would just mess up your routine? If that's the case, I still think you probably should go. You can take a couple weeks, again, like I said, with some of the Packer guys, if you want to go for like a week and then leave or something like that, just be there, be with the team, greet the guys, help them show how to work. It's their first day on the job. Be there to greet them and show them the ropes, demonstrate to them how to do things, and then get back to work. But again, if you're not doing that, if that isn't the very valid reason for not being there because I'm working harder than I would back in Chicago, then I think that's kind of crazy, and especially for a guy like Velus Jones, who has just not been very good. I mean, his window to actually making the team is being your kick returner, because the value of that has gone up, and that's been his whole thing since day one. If he doesn't win that job, he's in trouble, and this would be a great time for him to demonstrate that, right? This is when we're going through the OTAs. This is when they're explaining the new kickoff rules and what we're planning on doing and all that. What do you need to be doing, Velus, other than being in Chicago, working with your team, getting right in front of that special team? You should be in that guy's office 24/7 saying, I'm going to be the kick returner. What do I have to do? How are we doing this? Show me the layout and the schemes and all that. He's not doing that. So I'm not buying it from Velus Jones at all. Like you said, Keenan Allen should be there because he hasn't been with the team. I think it'd be a good time to work with your rookie quarterback. Darnell Wright is going into year 2, and he struggled as a rookie. I feel like he should be there. I mean, of all the guys that I would be willing to forgive, it would be Montez Sweat. He's He's a veteran. He played last year. He was a good football player. Still would be nice for him to be there. But again, as long as he's putting in work somewhere, fine. Everybody else, no, you need to be there. Anyways, folks, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a good rest of your night. I'll talk to you tonight, tomorrow, whatever. Have a good one. Bye-bye.